Win over the Golden State Warriors, and they are feeling good as they improved to 13-2 at home. And we welcome everybody to Warriors Live, presented by Toyota, with the NBA champ Festus Ezeli, our Hall of Famer Warriors insider
Monty
Poole. I am Bonte Hill, and Monty, I'll start with you.
Yep.
That was a statement made by the Golden State Warriors saying basically the West still runs through the Bay.
You know, the Grizzlies did all this talking, and they haven't won any. They've won one playoff series. And so, and again, the last time they saw the Warriors beat them four times in 6 games. Now the Warriors have beaten them 5 in the last 7 games. So it just, you know, they're a good team, but the Warriors at home have been a different team this year. We've seen that all season long. Today was kind of like, sorry, business as usual for them.
This is the craziest case of Jekyll and Hyde I've ever seen. The Warriors right now at home, you know, the way they move the ball,
yep.
We talk about this all the time, how role players play better at home. And the role players for this team, you talk about Anthony Lamb, Dante DiVincenzo. You know what Jordan Poole is going to bring to the table. You know what Klay Thompson brings. But the bench of this team really came alive today in this game tonight. Ty Jerome, oh my gosh, they played great defense. We're moving the ball.
Right.
It was just they won all the 50-50 balls. The rebounding, this is the #1 rebounding team in the league, the Memphis Grizzlies. The Warriors out-rebound them 51 rebounds to 44. That is a big deal. They came out and set the tone physically tonight, understanding that they have to do all these little things to be able to win. And I said this before the game, that this team has a lot of tools in the bench, and this is them getting that together, especially when they're home. Now, let's take this show and keep building on it.
Well, they won't be on the road for quite some time. They still have 7 games left on this 8-game homestand, but tonight was important for the Golden State Warriors as the Grizzlies came in, tied for first place in the Western Conference alongside the Denver Nuggets. Of course, the Grizzlies had circled this game, but you got a spirited effort from Jordan Poole, who got ejected from the game with 9:20 left. We'll get to that a little bit later. You had Klay locked in, but you mentioned the bench. And I thought a key stretch for the Golden State Warriors was the end of the first quarter. Wiseman and Moody were the first guys off the bench, and they played the last 5 minutes of the first quarter. They were later on joined by Jonathan Kuminga, and that young core was able to stabilize the game, and they were +2 in the last 5 minutes of the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, there was reason to be concerned because Jordan was so good in that first quarter with 17 points. There was reason to be concerned, okay, how would the Warriors hold up with him on the bench? Just like you used to wonder if when Steph on the bench, how would the Warriors hold up? But the second unit took the lead from 5 and 6 to 10. And so that was it. Wiseman came in, didn't take a shot, but he defended, rebounded. He did all the little things.
Positioning was really good tonight.
Yeah, and so these are the things you want your second unit to do. Either grow leads or at least make sure they don't get lost. So once they got to that point, and it was a timeout early in the second quarter by Taylor Jenkins, thinking, okay, wait a minute, this is not going our way. I think after that, you felt like the Warriors had a formula that if they follow it, they'll win this game. And they kept following it. Whenever the Grizzlies came back, the Warriors found a way to return.
If you said that was your favorite part of the game, my favorite start to the game was Klay Thompson. Watching him playmaking for the guys, and you call it the bench guys, but for everybody else. He was getting in the paint, and I said that that's what Jordan Poole should have done, but every time Klay Thompson got the ball, he started creating for other guys, and what does that do? And when the game gets into a lull, when you're not making shots, then other guys are making shots, then you're getting stops. You talked about the end of the first quarter. The end of the first quarter happened because the guys were involved. They were engaged. There's something about having the ball and being able to touch the ball and being around. When you get to touch the ball as a player, you just energized. You play better defense. You run the floor better. You get to your spots better.
Yeah, you feel like you feel like your effort is being rewarded. You know, just because you're out there, if you don't see the ball on 3 or 4 possessions, it's like, why am I even out here? You know, what am I doing? But when they're all involved, everybody gets into it.
I will say, this team right here, they wanted this game. The Warriors wanted this game. They came in tonight with that intensity. You know what the last couple of days have been in practice. They've been watching that 91 first half against the Brooklyn Nets. 91 points in the first half. And tonight, in the third quarter, the Memphis Grizzlies have 89 points.
Well, we're going to go to the third quarter tape because the Grizzlies ended the first half down 5. Remember, the Warriors were up 15 in that second quarter. The Memphis Grizzlies charged back. Tyus Jones went on a personal 6-0 run. So the start of the third quarter was so imperative for the Warriors. They had to get off to a great start, Monty, and they did that. Klay Thompson, who was just 2 of 10 in that first half, he started off 3 for 3 in that third quarter. And overall, the Warriors shoot 61% in that frame. They outscored the Grizzlies 40-30. They were 5 of 12 from the three-point line. Klay had 10 points in that frame, and Jordan Poole with 12.
Looking at the team's record, you're saying, okay, it's halftime, the Warriors have a lead, but here come the Grizzlies in the third quarter. The Warriors put a 40-burger on them. When you put up 40 on any team in the third quarter, that's a hell of a response to any possible challenge, any possible rally. The Grizzlies didn't have enough going because the Warriors played defensive basketball soundly enough but more important, they cut down on their turnovers. First half, they gave them 16 points off turnovers. Third quarter, they cut it down to 1 turnover in the third quarter. So when you do that, it changes the whole dynamic of the game.
And then in 65 seconds, you get Ty Jerome hitting a 3, a layup, and another 3. He finished with 10 points in that third quarter, and they held the Grizzlies defensively to 32% shooting in that third frame.
I saw a lot of Draymond. I saw a lot of Kevon Looney. I saw them flying all over the place. And then Dante DiVincenzo he's coming into his own now with this team. You see him, and you can feel him every possession. He's getting all the loose balls, every 50-50 ball. This is what this team can bring. You can win the game on defense alone. You can win the game with defense, but they also have these offensive tools. They have guys like Dante who's hitting shots. You have Anthony Lamb coming in the game hitting shots. But they score 40 points in the third quarter. You know why? Because they go into the locker room and they watch film and they watch the clips of, oh, wow, you guys are there's actually possessions here where you could take advantage of the team even more. You just can't turn the ball over. 16 points off of turnovers in the first half.
Kept them in the game.
They end the game with 18 points off of turnovers.
Yeah.
So you see that they were taking
second half, they
better
gave
care
them
of
2
the
points.
ball.
Yeah,
and then you had all the extracurricular activities going on. Tippers were flaring, trash was talked, and it all starts with Jordan Poole and Dillon Brooks. There you see Jordan Poole already got fouled. And look, Memphis was coming in, being physical. You saw Dillon Brooks multiple times in this game throwing his forearm out, his elbow out, but he got saddled in foul trouble. Jaren Jackson Jr., his first 11 minutes, he was saddled in foul trouble. He had 5 fouls, so he was never able to get into a rhythm. But Monty, these two teams do not like each other, and rivalries begin in the playoffs where the Warriors beat them in 6 games a season ago. Yet the Warriors, look, the Grizzlies were saying that nobody in the West, they don't fear anybody in the Western Conference. They're looking at the Celtics.
Well, the thing is, it's one thing to not fear anybody in the Western Conference, but to me, that's something that you really can't trust that kind of comment unless you won in the postseason. Unless you've won in the postseason. That's not it. That's postseason.
They wanted the Warriors on Christmas Day.
No, they
now,
got
John wanted them in Memphis, but Dre said, no. You come to the champ's house.
Yeah, you don't go.
So we got what we wanted, Dre, and we saw his father there, T. Morant. Dillon Brooks was chirping. Taylor Jenkins calling timeouts.
They were favored by 7.5 points?
Ooh, man.
I'm telling you, unless you beat a team in the playoffs, you probably should just chill for a while.
Well, they're not going to chill. January 25th is round 2.
I'm just going to tell you guys right now, I'm excited about this budding rivalry for both teams. Let's not get it twisted. This Memphis Grizzlies team is no team to joke with. They have a guy in Ja Morant who's flat out special. He's a guy who can really go. He got in the paint. One of the best finishers around the paint in the league right now. As a point guard, that's very incredible. And they have shooters and they have pieces. Desmond Bane did not have a great game tonight. Obviously, you know the talking back and forth between him and Klay, where he said, I'm the best shooter outside of Steph Curry. You know Klay Thompson heard that?
Oh, no doubt.
He took that person.
No doubt. Ja Morant, 36, 8, and 7. However, let's go back to Chase Center with the great Kerith Burks. He's standing by with Anthony Lamb. What a nice game off the bench.
Anthony, you guys were locked in. It's special to play on Christmas. The Grizzlies do not like you. How spicy did you think this game would be?
Well, this is my first experience with the rivalry, so it was something I loved. I love the energy from the fans. I love the energy from my teammates, so I just try to reciprocate the best I can.
Was this your first Christmas game?
Yeah, this is my first one. Yeah, it's an unbelievable experience. I got to see my mom and my brother, so I'm so grateful that they're here and be able to watch me play today.
That's wonderful. And when your team is shorthanded, everybody needs to play their best. How does, players 1 through 15 talk about how to attack this game?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just locking into the game plan. So we know we don't have Steph or Wiggs, so being able to play a different way, but still be the effective Warriors way is the biggest thing we were focused on. I think a lot of guys stepped up. Moses, Todd, JK, Wise, everybody came in off the bench was ready to play, and that showed.
All right, I'm going to ask you a delicate question. I don't want you to get fined. So I just want you to say with your facial expressions, what did you think of 6 technical fouls in this game? Well said, Anthony. Merry Christmas. I appreciate you.
Keep your money, young fella. Keep your money. Do not get fined. Absolutely.
Hey, 11 points for Anthony Lamb. Played inspired basketball there. Hit some open threes. Played some solid defense. But it all starts with Jordan Poole. We're all looking at Jordan Poole, who signed the big fat contract extension before the season started, which kicks in next year. And Jordan Poole, look, he had a 20-point half this season in this game. He finished with 32 points. All right. That's his 6th 30-point game of the season, his 17th in the career. And that's despite getting kicked out of the game with 9:20 left, Monty, which was questionable by Mark Davis and company, but Jordan Poole was in his bag tonight.
Yeah, it started from the first quarter. When you score 17 points in 11 first quarter minutes, that means you have a pretty good chance of being your kind of night. He was scoring at every level, free throws, drives, mid-range, threes. So when you have Jordan coming out like that, playing with a certain, I guess, intensity from the start on offense, that does wonders for the team. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Warriors were able to stay on top of this game throughout, because Jordan wouldn't let him go. He was obviously pretty torqued at himself at that last game when he was 4 of 17 in Brooklyn. He made up for it.
You know what he is. He's a gym rat. He's a guy who comes to work every day. What is the stat right here we have?
Youngest 30-point Christmas Day game in franchise history. The great Rick Barry, the Hall of Famer, doing it at the age of 22. Wilt Chamberlain's on every freaking list at the age of 23.
Every list.
And now you see Jordan Poole becoming the 3rd youngest 30-point scorer in Warriors franchise history. Incredible. That's a franchise with Chris Mullin, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and then you see Jordan Poole behind Rick Barry.
Jordan Poole had his foot on the gas the whole night. He came in with he had one thing in his mind tonight. He was like, I'm going to go get this win. I don't care what it is or what it takes. And he started from the beginning of the game. He was attacking the paint. It was 3 for 10 from the 3-point line tonight. And he understood that he had to adjust. And he was getting to the paint, getting to the free throw line. These are the things coming into the season, coming into last season we talked about, that Jordan Poole can score. But understanding the nuances of the game, being physical, getting to the paint, these are the things that we're starting to see. And those are big shoes to fill. Steph Curry is out right now, and he's the guy who can really fill those shoes while Steph is gone.
I don't know that anybody had to say anything to Jordan after that last game in Brooklyn where he didn't play well at all. But I think Jordan himself knows that, okay, Steph's going to be out for at least 2 more weeks. I can't be the guy who is not putting in the points and not putting in production that we need with him out. This is a game in which it's on national TV, which those guys love. National TV against a team that's been talking trash. I think Jordan came out, with an absolute purpose. Okay, tonight, I'm going to go for it tonight. I mean, I'm not going to let anybody stop me. I don't care who it is, Dylan Brooks, whoever it is. And he managed to do that early on and kept it on, like you said, kept his foot on the gas all night.
My college coach used to have this quote that says, when opportunity knocks, some people are in the backyard looking for 4-leaf clovers. And this Golden State Warriors team right now, this was a great opportunity. This is national TV games. I tell you guys all the time, other teams watch these games. They watch to see what are the Warriors doing, what do they look like, what does their defense look like, and offense look like. We watch other people's games, understanding how we're going to attack them. And when on these games like this, you take it personal when people are attacking you on the national circuit coming into the game. So this team was very motivated, and it was a great statement for the Warriors team this night.
Yeah, Jordan Poole was dripping with swag all night long at Chase Center, and Klay Thompson was playing with that intensity. No doubt about it. Klay Thompson, look at him. His game tonight. Look, you're going to look at the numbers offensively and say, well, 8 for 25, he really didn't have it going. But he hit timely shots in the 3rd quarter, as we just mentioned. He finished with 24 points, a season-high 9 rebounds, the 4 assists, the playmaking that you talked about, Festus. But more importantly, Monty, he looked really good on the defensive end of the floor.
That's the most important aspect of Klay Thompson's game that the Warriors need, because, let's face it, with Wiggins out, they need a perimeter defender and somebody with some size. That's Klay. Yeah, you can put Dante out there, but Klay is a guy who can guard up to small forwards, big forwards. He can guard all those positions, so you know his shot's going to score. He's going to get buckets whether he's efficient or not. He's going to score. Tonight was one of those games where his first half he wasn't so efficient. Second half he finally got his range going, and you saw the total report, it finished with 24 points. So I think Klay had a nice all-around game, even though, again, the efficiency wasn't there, but he played a good basketball game.
You know,